been imposed on us, as mentioned by our chairman, Comrade Leo, and we did not start it. This is a war of liberation and defense. We still have areas that have not yet been liberated. They are still occupied by Sudan armed forces. That's why I call it war of liberation. It's a war of defense because we are defending our freedom, which we have earned after a long struggle on 9th of July. It's a war of defense because we are defending our resources from being looted by the National Congress Party regime in Khartoum. The response from the young people, I want to thank all of them, especially those who have reached SPLA centers in this country, that the response has been tremendous indeed, and I appreciate all the young men and young women. But surprisingly, there were widows also, like in Rumbek. You saw widows who have turned up, and they've said their husbands died in front line, and they really feel that they need now to go and fight for this land. So the response is good, but the demand is still very high. I want to repeat the same appeal here now to all the youth in this country, that every county must contribute young men and young women that are ready to die and defend this country. This freedom can only be sustained by the sons and daughters of this land. International community will never sustain our sovereignty. It's us to maintain and defend the sovereignty of this country. I would also want to take this opportunity and tell the Republic of Sudan that do not be exhausted by the National Congress Party policies of destruction. Indeed, it is not a National Congress Party. This party has conflict with the South. This party has conflict with the Nuba Mountain, with Angasina. It has conflict with the Darfur. It is mistreating and creating conflict within Khartoum. So it is not called, it's no longer called National Congress Party, but it's a national conflict party. I want to call upon the youth in the north to denounce jihad, that they should not be consumed as consumable products by the regime in Khartoum, that there is no jihad anymore. What they need to do is that young men and young women in Khartoum and the whole population must uprise to change regime in Khartoum as the only way of stopping this war. Bashir will continue to produce terrorists that terrorize the whole country. And even the remaining part of Sudan is at risk. It might break up into many states should the National Congress Party continue to be in Khartoum. It is actually a threat to the existence of the remaining Sudan. My appeal also to Sudan armed forces, that you will be an army without future. Because if your commander-in-chief is a criminal, wanted by the International Criminal Court of Justice, your defense minister is an international criminal, what even weapons and ammunition, you may not even get them. So this army, the only future to the Sudan armed forces is to get rid of the Minister of Defense, Abdul Rahim, and get rid of the Commander-in-Chief, Bashir, so that they are free army. Otherwise, it will be a suicidal army, because the two guys who are commanding this army are actually people with no future in this world. So this is my appeal also to the young men and young women in South, that they have no future under Abdul Rahim, they have no future under Omar Hassan Ahmed al-Bashir. We in this Republic of South Sudan are peaceful people, want to have peace with everybody, and want the remaining part of Sudan also to be a good neighbor, living in peace side by side with the Republic of South Sudan. But should the NCP continue the policy of divide and rule, I think this will be the last war to be fought by a National Congress Party while they are in power. This will mark, this is the beginning of the end of the National Congress Party. Let me reveal this secret to the people of Sudan, a strategy of the National Congress Party. It's a party that is controlled by two tribes, Al-Jalin wa Shawaiga. After the breakaway of the South, and Darfur and Nuba and Funy are at war with them, the analysis that the Masiri and the Zayqat will be the majority in terms of composition of the remaining Sudan. And therefore they want to alienate, eradicate, and completely commit them to genocide. That is why Nafi al-Manafi, Nasal Bashir, Nasal Wadajas, Beshtaro Mawatir, and I want to say this in Arabic. Beshtaro Mawatir, Uhasin, عشان يهاجموا دبابات بتاع SPLA. ما أقول له ده شعب أنت بتريده بتديه 2000 موتر يهاجموا مدرعات ويهاجموا مدفعية مسيرية بنتهي ورزقات بنتهي وده سياسة بتاع المؤتمر الوطني عشان الشايقية والجعالين يكونوا أغلبية بعد في الخرطوم. لأنهم خايفين من الماجوريتي بتاع الرزقات ماجورتي بتاعت مسيرية الموجود حاليا في شمال. فدعوة هاي للرزيقات وللمسيرية بأنه يبتعدوا من المؤتمر الوطني ويشتغلوا لكي يقدر يحرروا بعضهم وما يستخدمون ضد الجمهورية. دي جمهورية جنوب السودان، ما ممكن قبيلتين يشاكلوا مع جمهورية جنوب السودان. جيش الشعب اللي تحرر السودان ده جيش بكله عتاده الحربية، ما ممكن ترسل له قبيلة بمواتر وعجلات. These are suicide, almost suicide bombers. So المؤتمر الوطني داير ينتهي من الرزيقات والمسيرية، ودعوتي للرزيقات والمسيرية يحرروا مجلد، يحرروا ميرم، ويتحركوا تجاه.
On his part, the chairperson of Defense Committee and the Council of States, retired Major